Hi guys, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a new stitch that I've invented. I use that term very loosely because it probably exists somewhere in the world, and if you know what it is, let me know in the comments below because that'd be really helpful. And but then I've turned that stitch into some fingerless mittens here. So let's begin. So this tutorial is filmed on a brand new camera, a camera I've been saving up a while for, so I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's donated via my website and all my Patreon supporters for making this happen. I'm so excited to finally update my very old camera. So hopefully you're experiencing some better visuals and some better audio as well, less background noise. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, so there's a modern misconception if you have a lot of followers, you have a lot of money. You don't is not true at all. And so I really want to say thank you to you guys for helping me make this happen. It really does help me keep me doing what I'm doing. So, but also to thank you to everyone who likes and comments and watches my tutorials. I really appreciate you guys as well. You're all amazing. So thank you guys. Anyway, let's crack on with this tutorial. So because it's actually quite warm today and I'm designing gloves, so my hand's getting hot. So the first thing we're going to do though is we're going to grab our yarn. This is a chunky bulky weight yarn, so it's going to be a yarn weight of 5, and with that I'm using a 5.5, come on camera, you can focus, 5.5mm crochet hook. So it's a good idea to have a pair of scissors and a yarn needle as well for sewing in those ends. So both gloves are identical, so let's begin, shall we? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on a little cuff here, and this is a double crochet foundation stitch. So if you're brand new to the double crochet foundation stitch, then hopefully you can still follow along. The reason I use a foundation stitch instead of normal chains is because it creates a more softer edge rather than a tight chain. It's much softer and more springy, so it's really good for edges to projects like gloves. But we're going to start off with a slip knot. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. So I'm going to chain 1 and 2. I'm going to yarn over and we're going to put our hook into our first chain. I'm going to bring the yarn through the first chain. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to create our chain. So we're going to yarn over and pull through that first loop only to create our chain, and then we've got our 3 loops to do our double crochet. So we just pull through 2, pull through 2. So this pattern's in US terminology, so these are going to be treble crochet foundation stitches. And the next one we yarn over and we find that chain that we created on the side, put our hook in there, bring the yarn through, bring up a little bit of a loop, and again create our next chain, and then we do our double crochet. So this is a little bit fast. Do check out my beginner tutorials, especially the one on the foundation stitch, and you should be able to follow along a bit better. And then we're going to work into our next chain we just created and make our next chain and then do our double crochet. Then yarn over, find your next chain on the side, put your hook into there, create your next chain and then your double crochet. Alternatively, you can just chain and then work double crochets into those chains if you prefer. But we're just going to make enough double crochet foundation stitches to fit around sort of this part of your hand. So not quite the wrist, just a little bit more than your wrist. So we're going to do enough just to fit around here. Now for this glove I didn't actually write this pattern down, so let's work out how many I did. So for mine I crocheted 28 double crochet foundation stitches to reach around the circumference of this part of the hand, and but you need to work to units of 4. So obviously my 28 is divisible by 4, so you need to work to units of 4. So you may want to just do 24, or you may want to do 32. It does need to be divisible by 4. Okay, so I'm just going to work 28 double crochet foundation stitches, working into that chain on the side, bring the yarn through, create another chain, and then do my double crochet. Going up to the last one, number 28. To that chain, create another chain, even though we're not going to use it, and then do our double crochet. And there we go. So this part needs to fit around, not the widest part of your hand, not the wrist, but this part here. And the reason for that is because the stitch we're going to do tends to make it a little bit tighter, so then it ends up fitting around your wrist. So it's going to fit around this part. And what we're going to do is making sure the yarn's at the top and not twisting your project. So these are going to be the stitches we work into where your hook is. We're going to just bring this round into a loop. We're going to find the first double crochet, so ignore the chain down here. Find this first double crochet that you made, put your hook into there, making sure not to twist your project. We're going to yarn over, bring that through the stitch and through the loop on your hook. Now you do end up with a bit of a gap here. Whoops, I'll bring my needle with it. Which I've got here, but you can sew that up after if you want to, it's up to you. Okay, so then we're going to work the patterns. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2 at the beginning of each round, and then we're going to skip the first stitch. So this stitch we just slip stitched into, we're going to skip that stitch. We're going to work 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next stitch. And then, this is the funky bit, what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and we're going to put our hook into this skipped stitch. And the best thing to do is just bring your hook down, go behind and come out from the front instead. So rather than going in front to back like we normally do, we're going to go behind and go from back to front. Okay, bring the yarn through, then yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to stop. We're going to yarn over, we're going to go into the next stitch along here, bring the yarn through, then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so that's double crocheting 2 stitches together basically, but you're double crocheting the stitch that you skipped and then the next stitch all the way over here. But because we double crochet those 2 together, we've lost a stitch in our stitch count, so we need to do a chain 1 to add our stitch count back in to get our 4 stitches. Okay, so we're going to do that again. So we're going to skip the next stitch and do a double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, then we're going to yarn over, find your skip stitch and bring your hook round, working from back to front, grab the yarn, bring it through, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over again and go into the next stitch along, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then chain 1 to get your stitch count back up, and you get this pattern here. I'm going to do that all the way round back to the beginning. So we're going to skip the next stitch and do 1 double crochet in the next 2. So double crochet in there, or trebles in UK terminology, double crochet in there, then we yarn over, put our hook in the skip stitch, but we're going from back to front, grab the yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over again and go into the next stitch along here, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then chain 1. Don't forget that chain 1, otherwise your stitch count will be going down. And do that all the way around. So skip 1, 1 double crochet in the next 2, and just repeat that all the way around. So yarn over into the skipped stitch, grab the yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way around back to the beginning. It's very easy to forget that chain 1, so don't forget it. My yarn's just fallen on the floor. I have no idea where that's gone. Rolled away. And the last one. To the last stitch. This is why you need the stitch count of 4, and then chain 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to find our first double crochet that we did. So not these 2 chains, we're going to skip these 2 chains, 1, 2, find that first double crochet so it's hidden behind your decrease. Put your hook into there and do a slip stitch. And that's it, that's your first round. And then we're going to repeat that again. We start with a chain 2, and then we're going to skip the first stitch we just slip stitched into and do 1 double crochet in the next 2. It's the exact same thing again. So double crochet in there, a double crochet in there, then we yarn over, put our hook into that first skipped stitch over here, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and then we need to go into the chain that we did. Bring the yarn through the chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, then add your chain. Okay, and then do the same thing again, skip the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 2. So we're going to repeat this all the way around, back to the beginning. And we're going to do that for a certain amount of rounds, which I shall tell you in a minute. Let's just finish this one, chain 1. So there we go. So we're going to repeat this for however many rounds it takes up to the widest part of your hand. So literally just below your thumb to about here, this widest part is where we want to stop, okay? So for me, that was, how many rounds did I do before an increase? So there's my increase. So I did it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. Okay, 6 rounds. So you want to do 5 more rounds then. Okay, so do 6 rounds, and then that's going to take it up to this part. So I've got a little bit of wrist part here, and then I carried on up to this widest part here. And then we're going to do some increases. Okay, so repeat this for another 5 rounds, or however many rounds you need to get up to the widest part, and then I shall come back and show you what to do next. So we skip 1 double crochet in the next 2. And then when you get to the end, don't forget that last chain 1, and what we're going to do, we skip the 2 chains, you find your first double crochet and slip stitch into there to join the round. Okay, and then carry on your rounds. Okay, so I've repeated that, so I've got 6 of these pattern rounds, and then I'm just finishing up my little chain 1 and slip stitch into that double crochet. And what we need to do now is test that you're happy with the fit of that. And then what we need to do is, now we've reached this wider part of the hand here, we need to do an increase. So to do that, we're going to work it over the first 4 stitches. So the first thing we're going to do though is we're going to chain 2, and we're going to skip that first stitch like we did before, and then we're going to do the 2 double crochet in that second stitch. So in that next stitch we do a double crochet, and we'll do another double crochet in there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do our decrease. So we're going to yarn over, go into that first skipped stitch just like we did before, yarn over, pull through 2, then we yarn over, and we're going to go into the same stitch as those 2 double crochet, bring the yarn through, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and do your chain 1. Okay, then we're going to skip the next stitch, and then in that chain we're going to do the same thing again, 2 double crochet. So we do 1 double crochet and then another in that same chain. Then we yarn over, go into that skipped stitch from back to front, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and back into that chain again. pull through 2, then pull through all 3 and do your chain 1. So now you've got 2 lots of this pattern worked over the first 4 stitches, so we've got a nice increase. And then we go back to the normal pattern again, so we skip the next stitch and do 1 double crochet in the next 2. So a double crochet in there, then a double crochet in the next stitch, then we yarn over, go into the skip stitch, pull through 2, yarn over into the chain, fresh stitch, pull through 2, pull through all 3, chain 1. So it's the pattern as normal, and repeat that all the way round back to the beginning. So skip the next one, so it's back to the normal pattern now. And what we've effectively done is just added 4 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to just do the normal pattern now back to the beginning, and then I shall come back. Just go up to the beginning, chain 1 and slip stitch into the first double crochet, skipping those 2 chains. And there we go, and then we just go back to the normal pattern, so just worked as normal. Chain 2, skip the first stitch you just slip stitched into, and do 1 double crochet in the next 2. And you should find the pattern still fits fine because we've added 4 stitches. And we're going to repeat just the normal pattern now for another 4 rounds, so kind of just past the thumb area. So do our little chain 1. We're just working this over the increase now. I want to do it up to about here, just past the thumb. It's about 4 rounds, so if I show you on this one. Sorry, my table's so creaky today. So it's just up to this part here on the thumb, and then we will add the thumb hole. Okay, so 4 more rounds. So skip the next stitch and 1 double crochet in the next 2. Okay, so I've done 4 more rounds after the increase, so we're up to the thumb area here now, and now we need to work out where we want to put our thumb holes. So we do have a seam that runs along down here, and you might want to hide that on the inside rather than having it exposed on the top. So depending on what hand, although you could just repeat the pattern, have identical gloves, identical mittens, it's a good idea to, depending on which hand you're making now, which glove you're making. So this is going to be for this hand here. The seam is here, so I want my thumb hole to be around here, and the thumb hole is going to be worked over a set of these 4 stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work up, if I just fold this in half, I'm going to work up to about here, and then I'm going to skip some stitches. So my yarn has decided to go all stringy on me. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's just typical. Right, let's sort this out. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to do my chain 2 and work up to the edge over here. So skip 1, do the pattern as normal, 1 double crochet in the next 2, and then do your decrease over that skip stitch and the next stitch, that chain, and chain 1. And okay, so I'm going to just do 1 set, and then I'm going to skip this whole set of 4 stitches here and work the pattern in the next lot of 4 over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then I'm going to skip that 5th one and work into that next stitch, double crochet in the next 2. Okay, and then we work our pattern as normal. We yarn over and do our decrease in that last skipped stitch, that 5th one, pull through 2, then yarn over and go into the chain, and then it's just the pattern as normal. Chain 1. Then we're back to doing our pattern as normal. And what this has created, this little these skipped 4 stitches, that creates our thumb hole, and our seam is going to be on the inside, running down there, so you get the nice pattern on the top. Okay, but if you were doing the other hand, I suppose actually it would work for the other hand as well. No, it wouldn't actually, would it? Because then what would happen the seam is running along the top. Where's the seam? There's the seam, whereas the nice pattern's underneath. So what you'd want to do is work the pattern all the way around to this side and then skip 4 stitches this side instead, so that when you put that in, you'll get the nice pattern on top and the seams underneath. Okay, so have a little play with that. What I'm going to do now though is just continue the pattern as normal, and I'm just going to do that for a couple of rounds, just 1, 2, and then the glove's finished. So just normal pattern now for 2 more rounds. So where am I at? Skip 1, 1 double crochet in the next 2. And there we go, just coming up to the end, doing my last chain 1 and slip stitch that first double crochet. And there we go, I just did 2 rounds after that thumb hole, and then we're done. You might want to do more or less. And then just cut our yarn, pull that through, and then all we need to do is hide your tail end. So get a yarn needle, and then sew to the inside, turn it over, then just sew down, back in the opposite direction, and then just trim down the excess. And like I said, you may want to use this tail end here just to sew that little gap closed. I quite like it open like that. But there we go, there is our finished fingerless mitten to go with our other fingerless mitten, like so. Ta-da! So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, hope you enjoyed learning a new stitch as well. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and share your makes over there, because I love showing them on my stories using the hashtag #HappyBerryCrochet. So do follow me over there if you're on Instagram, and don't forget to like and subscribe this video so you get more crochet tutorials to your inbox, and click that little notification bell so you get notified of all my tutorials as they become available, because I know sometimes you don't get notified of when my next videos come out. And it's like I've disappeared off YouTube, but I haven't, I am there. And I've also got a knitting channel if you want to check out some beginner knitting tutorials at Happy Berry Knitting. I'll put the links in the description below if you're interested in some knitting. And I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.